So give us some insight, as far as you can, into North Korea and what actually might move them when it comes to this quest they have for nuclear weapons, and particularly the ability to deliver them on an ICBM.
Well, the North Koreans regard the possession of nuclear weapons and their delivery systems as the guarantee for their political survival. And it is highly unlikely they'll ever give these up. What I think probably the best we can hope for at this point is some kind of freeze where they simply don't develop any more weapons, any more missiles, and certainly don't proliferate beyond the peninsula.
So thus far, there's been a lot of talk, and there have been a lot of sanctions on North Korea. It's not apparent that it's actually dissuaded them at all. Has anyone, since the North Korea was founded shortly after World War II, has anyone been able to influence North Korea?
Well, North Korea, because it is its own internal political economy, is remarkably insensitive to either sanctions or inducements. It really marches to its own drummer. The regime has a very narrow constituency base. It doesn't take a lot of money to keep the elites and the military happy, and they're able, and it's a government that has very little accountability to the general population, so they're able to endure sanctions, and then when you try to provide them with inducements, the inducements don't make a lot of difference either if they require fundamental changes in policy or their internal political organization. So honestly, there's not a lot the outside world can do to change the path that they're on.
After the Mar-a-Lago discussions between President Trump and President Xi, President Trump came away apparently believing that China could help materially with this. Doesn't seem to have played out. Now he's tweeting, you know what, they tried, it didn't work. Can China really affect North Korea, or is that something of a myth?
Well, if China were willing to accept an unstable North Korea or regime change in North Korea, of course China could affect things. China accounts for more than 90% of North Korea's trade. It is North Korea's primary supplier of oil, the marginal supplier of grain. If China were to impose an embargo of North Korea, that would get the North Koreans' attention very quickly. But the Chinese are not willing to risk the instability that that might bring. And so their revealed preference is they'd rather have a nuclear-armed North Korea than an unstable North Korea. They have the leverage. They choose simply not to use it.
President Putin last week wrote that there was a plan that he had, that he thought that President Xi agreed with, that would involve North Korea, as you say, sort of putting aside the further developments of the program in exchange for the United States really not having any more military exercises south of the border. Is that a realistic path?
That's unrealistic in terms of dissuading the North Koreans, and it's completely unacceptable to the United States and South Korea. The United States and South Korea have a mutual defense treaty. They engage in annual military exercises. This is well understood and well known. The difference is the North Koreans' activity is illegal. It's been condemned by the United Nations, including China and Russia, on multiple occasions. They're subject to multiple UN Security Council resolutions on this behavior. So in effect, you're trading a normal legal activity for something that's illegal. And that's something that the United States and South Korea are not willing to do.